Good morning, everyone. I think we'll start on time. At least we try to. So let's say we can just wait maybe 1 minute until more people are coming. And in the meanwhile, I will introduce myself so we can take some time. So welcome, first of all, to this webinar. Today, and it's more or less half an hour, I will introduce a new feature, a novelty that comes with SpagoBI 5, a little bit of SpagoBI itself for those who are not familiar with it. And let's first introduce myself very quickly. I am Alessandra Toninelli. I work for SpagoBI as a consultant, so I am part of the SpagoBI labs. I mostly work as consultant, and I also deliver training on SpagoBI. I work on business intelligence projects. So let's say I am as well a user of SpagoBI 5. Let's now have a look at our group, who we are. Let's get a framework of reference, because some of you, I guess, already know SpagoBI and the engineering group. Some others don't. I think it's fair to have an idea before getting into more technical details. So we are part of a big IT group, which is the engineering group. It is basically the biggest IT player in Italy, with more than 7,000 people working in it. In Italy and abroad, because now, since some years already, it has an international flavor. We have offices all over the world, and in Europe, engineering group is within the top 10 of IT integrators. We provide IT integration, business and IT consulting, outsourcing, and products. Within this general framework, the SpagoBI labs are part of the research and innovation division of engineering group. So this is a division that works not on pure research. It's mostly about innovation. So we bring innovation to real industry settings. And particularly, the SpagoBI labs are composed of around 30 professionals who basically develop the SpagoBI suite and deliver professional services on top of that, which means consultancy, business intelligence projects. We also carry out research activities. As I said, basically, it's research and innovation. It's always kind of applied. And we manage the community around SpagoBI. So this is who we are. I'm part of SpagoBI Labs, and as such, I'm giving this webinar today. Now, what is SpagoBI? SpagoBI is a suite for business intelligence, and it is 100% open source. This is quite unique because at present, basically, SpagoBI is the only one, is the only product, business intelligence product that is fully open source, and there I mean with no double licensing system. So there's no Community Express, whatever edition, and Enterprise edition, and you have to pay for the Enterprise edition. There is just one stable version. So this is the philosophy, it's the approach. There's just one version, which can be downloaded and used without any cost associated to the license. It is clearly delivered with a license. If you're interested, we can have a talk about that later on. But that's a license that has no cost associated and allows the free use of code, basically. But it also allows to embed SpagoBI in other products, and they can be commercial as well. So clearly, we target the industry market. So we are not expecting that everyone using SpagoBI or embedding SpagoBI in its software product wants to make it open source. So the license is open in this sense because it allows commercial reuse. So you're quite free to use it in many different ways. And as I said, there's just one stable version. So what I'm showing is what you can find. If you go to the Forge, to OW2 Forge, you download the all-in-one, everything is there. And you can use it. So that's the situation. Then for professional services and so on, I'll talk about that later on, but this is the product. And I think this is a very big differentiator because, as I said, at present, it's probably the only solution with all these features that is fully open source. And you're quite free to use it in the way you like, so to say. What does it provide then in this open source way? Well, several features. As I said, it's a suite. So there are a number of analytical features that are offered. They may vary a lot, and it's understood that you may not need everything. Today, for example, we focus on the self-service part. So the new in-memory cockpit is part of let's say, a category of analysis that it's often called self-service BI, do-it-yourself, this kind of stuff. It means basically that these are analysis mainly targeted to the final user, the end user. They don't generally require a huge technical expertise. I mean, they are for the end user mainly. So those are interactive, user-friendly tools to build analysis very quickly on the fly, and especially for the final user. It may be a business user, for example. But SpagoBI itself provides a wider set of features. So we range from classical reports, charts, interactive charts, to multidimensional analysis, location intelligence, so more advanced type of analysis. And we're also in new trends, so to say, so access to big data, for example, and social listening, which is coming with SpagoBI 5.1. Okay, final overview. So we have seen the license and business model, an idea of analytical features. This is the architecture, of course, at a very high level. This is to show that you have a set of components and which you can use to manage your development cycle. So the server is the core of SpagoBI. It is basically it's a web application, and it is the one that delivers the actual analytical functionalities. But then you also have a number of support components. So the Studio and the Meta are both, let's say, design environments, and technically plug-in Eclipse. The Studio is the design environment for the business intelligence developer. So for example, to design reports, charts, analysis that then can be visualized by the final user. Today we don't use it, and there's no need to use the Studio for the in-memory cockpit, as we will see, because it's a self-service tool. But of course, it is at your disposal if you want to use it for other kind of reporting with SpagoBI. Meta is to design the business model, which is basically a logical model on top of physical models. So for example, you have tables in a database, you have a data source, and you build a business model on top of that, which is an abstraction. So it's more readable from a business viewpoint. We're not talking about tables or columns, but rather business classes. So it's similar to the universe and business objects for those who know that. But anyway, that's the idea. And finally, you have the SDK if you want to integrate SpagoBI server at a programmatic level. Sorry. And the applications are meant to be basically vertical analytics. So we have developed applications ourselves. For example, Spago4Q, which is a software to monitor. It's a product to monitor the quality of software. Applications are vertical analytics dedicated to a specific domain. So they can embed SpagoBI basically and a number of predefined analysis. Okay, now this is just to show how many things you can do. But today we go to the new cockpit. Okay, just some words, then we have a quick demo. But I think it's important to understand, unless you have already very clear idea. So what is the in-memory cockpit, and especially what's the goal, so that you can choose the tool and understand if it's good for you and your needs. Basically, the idea is that you allow the creation of dashboards very quickly because it's a web-based interface and it's easy to use. So it's something you can do quite quickly. And from a web interface. So you don't need, for example, the design environment and so on. It's quick. You can, this way, have immediately insights on your data because, of course, this is normally not a very, let's say, deep or complicated analysis. This is the kind of analysis that, for example, sometimes business users need, well, very often, not really sometimes, but very often. So put data together, get meaningful insights very quickly, very easily. And then, of course, they are interactive, so you can explore data. These are the main ideas. And as I said, the target users, again, this is it's a suggestion, and it's the, I'm just trying to give you the idea. Of course, you can use it in any other way if you like. I wrote main target users because it's the main idea. This is good for users who don't have a very strong technical knowledge, because it's very easy to build, and not even a very strong business intelligence knowledge. I mean, these are so to say simple analysis. So it's not for the data scientist, for example. It's a good tool for the end user, and especially the user who would like to quickly present data. Many times they do it with Excel, so that's very, very common. And they ask you and say, okay, I have all this data coming from Excel, and then the DB, how can I build a representation? And I want it now. So this is good because you have a tool which allows you the creation of this dashboard quickly. And a nice feature, which is typically important, is that you can have data coming from different sources. So for example, as I said, it may happen you have an Excel sheet, which is an extraction from some, I don't know, your HR system, and then you have other data about sales, for example. They come from the CRM, and you have them in tables. And you want to put those data together. So this may work because you can have multiple sources, and you put them together and build an analysis. As I said, this is a suggestion. I mean, you can use it anyway, but clearly this is not, for example, good if you want to navigate data in a multidimensional cube. So that's this is meant for dashboards, and these are its main features. And putting data together, so data mesh up. This is a summary of features. I think I will move to the demo because it's easier to remember them once you have seen it. But basically, one point is about data. So you can have multiple data sources. And so you get data, one data set from one data source and another, and you can use them together in the cockpit. Also, the different parts, so to say, and then we'll see, of the cockpit may share data sets. So it's quite flexible. This is implemented using in-memory technology, and in the end, this allows mashup capabilities. I mean, the associative logic between data, which we will see, and it is the design is web-based, so it's a do-it-yourself thing, and of course interactive and user-friendly. I think these are the main features that I would like to highlight. So I will now switch. I hope you don't see a lot of delay. Okay, let me just refresh. So let me see if you're getting this image correctly. Okay, it's refreshing. So what I'm showing here is the result. I prepared this dashboard right before the webinar, and we are going to build it quickly, but first I want to show you how it works. This is a typical final result. So in this case, what I did, I took data from, let's say it's an HR source, so to say. Actually, I have an Excel sheet, so we'll show you. And the data you see below are salaries of employees. And the idea is to build a cross-analysis between sales and salaries. So I see on top which type of store have the highest sales, I think it was 2011, and then I see the same information by city, and then below I have the salaries. So I have each person with the store to which he or she belongs. And I have all this information together. Now what I can do is, okay, this is a high-level information. For example, okay, let me first show you. I have this kind of interactivity. Okay, if you want to see the percentage, what is interesting, let's suppose we want to go to the mid-size grocery. So I'm selecting mid-size grocery. I'm very unlucky because there's just one city with mid-size grocery. But anyway, you see what it means. The fact that I select on one chart, basically, a type of store, filters all data. So in my data, this may happen, I have just one city, which is Yakima, where I have mid-size grocery, and below I get filtered all the employees with only that belong to well, work. Belong is not really very nice to say. They work in a store that is of type mid-size grocery, and it's in Yakima. Okay, so I take the chance to show. What if I want to clear this? I click on clear selection because I want to go back, and it will basically refresh data and go back and give me the initial view. I can as well, but that's a more detail. I can refresh single charts, but of course this refers to the single one. If I want to see it all, I refresh everything. And here I have again, okay, so let's go to supermarket. We are more likely to have more cities. So now I want to see sales for supermarkets. Okay, it gets resized. On the right, I have data about sales in those cities where we have supermarkets, and of course only for supermarkets. And below, I have, again, filtering. Here we have a number of cities. So these data, for example, are ordered by salary or store city, and then I can change it if I want. Okay, this is one. So this guy is the one who is most paid, and you see I have a mix of cities. Then let's say I just want to see this data for Los Angeles, so I click on Los Angeles and I get it filtered. So basically these data are all associated. And one thing you may wonder, I will anticipate this to you. So in 5.1, you have the choice to leave this chart untouched, so to say. So now you see that it gets resized. You have the full pie, the full bar. You will have the chance to leave it as it is. So you can freeze it, so you see the bars, and then all the others get refreshed, for those who are more familiar with this kind of dashboard. But this is the logic. So basically, I have an analysis, I explore, and I can work on single widgets as well as on all of them. But the thing is, data within this dashboard are all connected. So they get filtered together with my selection. Now, as I've shown you before, if you want to clear selections, you just go here and you clear basically the selection you have done. While if I click on this other item, it will show the current selections basically. So he's telling me you are in Los Angeles and you select supermarket. Okay, so I may, for example, remove just one of this, and it will get refreshed again, because before I removed everything. So it's quite customizable. Now let's go. I don't know if we will have time to build it all, but I want to show you something. So we don't have time to build data, but I will tell you what's happening. Okay, this is the place where the final user will find all his analysis. These are cockpits that I created before, and we'll create a new one. So if we go to create analysis, we select cockpit, and we have a clear dashboard. So we add a widget, And we choose, there's a small, you see the symbol there. Okay, so first of all, where do we pick data from? These are data sets that are already configured. If you download the all-in-one, by the way, most of them will be there. So as said, today we don't have time to look into that, but you can have a look at the user manual. I'll tell you afterwards number of resources. Consider that these are SpagoBI data sets available for the final user. So for example, I prepared this data set, which is, it is called employee list. This one is in the all-in-one. It is of type Excel CSV file. I have to tell again this to you. I cannot show because we don't have enough time. But this one, this thing, I created it by uploading an Excel file. And it comes from one source. It's the list of employees, okay? So I pick the data set that I want to see, and we go to the next window. And here I choose the widget. So if we want to build the same one as before, I had a table. I want to see those data in a table. I go to fields. These are the fields returned by my data set. Basically, those are the columns in my Excel file, because this is how I built the data set. So I don't know, I will put something. I think we had the salary, the full name, the position title, probably with management role, something which makes sense. And then we want to see, okay, the store type, the city, the state, why not? Okay, and that's it. That's enough for us. And the name, I don't know. Okay, so these are the columns. Then I go to this configuration tab and I put a title. I hope, okay, there are no typos. Okay, so these are tabs, you see. This is the title, columns. Then he will create this table for me. This is exactly how I did before. And I move it. I just want to show how you. Then, okay, I want to resize this. Let's do it the other way. Okay. Then I can resize columns, for example. And you can also change the order, as you have seen before. And this is the first part. Okay, so we have one widget. Probably we want to have it this way. Then I go again here to add widget, and I put another one. And this time, okay, this is interesting. If now I am shown all data sets available as before. And you can see here in yellow the data set I already used. This is just to inform me. Look, you have used this data set, but I want to pick another one. And also, if you want, you can go to use data set and you can see the data set that you are using. Okay, so it's showing. And then it will put it, okay. So I think the one I want to use is a sales data by store. I think it's the, okay. I'll pick this one. Again, I need to tell you what is this. This is another type of data set. It's not a file. I built this one using the QBE tool of SpagoBI. Basically, it's a high-level query tool based on the business model. It's the QBE. So just to say, it's a different type of data set and from a different source. So I'm taking two different sources completely. Even the type is different. One is a file, the other is a query over a business model. And you may have a SQL query over a database as well. So you can put multiple data sets together. This is very interesting, at least from my viewpoint. Then this time, I think we had the bar chart. Here you can customize. So first of all, let's put what we want to see. I think we have save. So I'm dragging the measure I want to see, and I want to see, I think it was by city, right? I'm just doing it the same so that you recognize it, but of course you can do it whatever. Then you have a number of options. For example, I chose horizontal because I thought it was better laid down. You can change the color. I think I chose this green, whatever. I also removed the precision because I thought it didn't mean a lot. So, okay. It's basically a number of options you have for this chart. And again, we put the title. So this time is saved by, oh, sorry, store city. No, I'm missing an E. Okay. Okay. So let's confirm. And we get the new one. So I do the same. Okay, you can resize, you put it here and there, wherever. And now we go to the interesting point, which is, okay, sorry, I don't like these things when they are not fine. Okay, the interesting point is, okay, now if I click, for example, here, nothing happens. Because these two widgets, they take data from different sources. There's no connection, so to say. They're independent. And this may as well happen in your dashboard if you want. But what I want to do is, look, if I select Los Angeles, I want to see employees in Los Angeles. So what do? I go to this association. And this is a very important point. Here is where I set associations between data. This is the associative logic. So it means that when I filter data in one widget, they will get filtered in the other one. So here you see the fields returned by the two data sets. Clearly, I took them from two separate data sets, but I mean, if you want an association, they need to have some common field. Otherwise, there's nothing to make the association on. In my case, I have the city. So I'm telling, okay, consider that these two things are the same. The state as well, and I'm adding. So I select and I add. And I think, well, let's see if we have the store type as well. Okay. So this means that when I filter in one data set, it will get filtered in the other one and in the widget as well. So we have three associations. Okay, confirm, and oh, sorry, I have a, I can't save because, okay, here it is. Let's first save it. Okay, this is the webinar test, for example. I'm saving the dashboard. I should have done it before. Saving is always very wise. Okay, and now we have the association. So now if I click, I don't know, on Los Angeles, here you go. The same thing happened with the pie. Thing is, I would like to keep some minutes for questions, so I will show you in the final version. Okay, let me just do it very, very quickly, just to show you that, for example, the pie. Again, I have used the data set. I will take again the save, and I just show you, okay, you have the pie. That's very, okay. This is to show you one important point. Okay, I think it was by store type. I don't care about colors, whatever. So it's just not even titled, that's it. My point was this pie. You see that you can also configure the color. This is what I did in the other one. This pie takes data from the same data set as the other one. Okay, let me just, okay, save everything. Sorry, it's the webinar test. So as I was saying, okay, I will just go, I go out and we look for our creation. Okay, it's this one. The pie takes data from the same source as the bar chart. So this means that if I set associations, what I did before, they will be true for the pie as well. Let me just recall you what we have. We associated between data sets, not between charts. So if the pie takes data from a data set that is already associated to another, as you can see, this gets refreshed. This is what we had before. I didn't have to set another association for the new widget because this is based on data. You see, it's powerful because the result is that we had data from one source, from another, we put them together, and now we can navigate. So that's the main idea. Now I'll end, of course, as usual, then you can put them in menus and so on and make them accessible to users. I will switch back to the slides very quickly. Actually, okay, the slides that follow, I mean, they just summarize what we have seen. So things that I think we should remember. You can take multiple data sets and put them in the cockpit. You can design it by yourself as you want. You put how many you want, where you want. You can, of course, customize the layout and the widgets as well. And then you have this associative logic to navigate data. I think these are the most important points to remember. Now, I would like to answer a couple of questions that I have seen right before the roadmap. I mean, we're almost there. Okay, so the question is basically, okay, what should I do? Because I have mentioned SpagoBI is a suite, so there are many features. We have seen one. What should I do, for example, if I just want to use this cockpit? So if I only want one or another feature and not everything. So it's not a problem, and actually this is what we suggest when we deliver consultancy or we do projects. You can start, I mean, with something very simple. You pick the functionality you need. Suppose you want to build your cockpit. Okay, you just use them. Technically speaking, you have engines, so you can also install the engines you need. Then the good point is that you can grow if you want. So you already have SpagoBI, and you use, for example, the self-service part. You use the in-memory cockpit, you use the dashboard, the QBE, and the worksheet. That's fine. At some point, you realize you want, I don't know, you need some all-up analysis. That's good, because SpagoBI is there. You just add one functionality, and you can let your project or your product grow. So that's not a problem. I mean, the fact that it is a suite, it gives you potential features, but it's not that you must use them. And remember, I mean, it's one version, one license, that's it. So you use it as you want. You pick what you need. You don't need to take it all and pay for whatever. You just use what you need. So starting little is a good idea anyway. But that may be a good idea. And okay, another question that is probably related to this, at least in my perspective. If you want to use SpagoBI, I mean, how do you start? Okay, well, what I suggest is download it. You download it from the Forge. Let me show you one thing. Okay. This is the website. Let me check if you all see. Okay, it's there. So in the website, you can find information, of course, about the product and everything. And you also then find a link to, okay, if you want to download, this will redirect you to the Forge. It's the OW Forge where SpagoBI resides, the code. And by the way, it's OW2, which guarantees that it will always be open source, because it's OW2, it's a independent and non-profit community which manages, I mean, the transparency, the openness of the code. You go there and you download. Then basically you will, okay, you can use some documentation to get information. If you go to the services part, you have free support, first of all, which means you have the community, so the forum, you have the wiki. Clearly, this is all best effort, but there are a lot of information, and with the community, you can share information, and Jira, the tracker for development activities. And then we also deliver professional services. So at some point, you may decide, for example, to request a demo. So please contact us in case you want to. You just drop us a line, and we can deliver a demo online, of course, or whatever. If you think you need something more, we also deliver services, consultancy, maintenance. We also do projects. Or we provide support if you are developing a project or if you want to embed SpagoBI in your product. So at some point you may understand what you need to do. If you need documentation right now, I also suggest, okay, you can download the user manual, because you can find a guide to the new in-memory cockpit as well. This user manual is meant for the final user, and it is for free. So you just go to the SpagoBI shop, but you download it for free. And then the webinars as well, they are recorded. So you can find previous webinars. This is the one for the new ones, but you can see videos and presentations on our channel in YouTube. So for example, if you want to see it again or have a look at other functionalities. So there is quite a lot of information online, and I think the website is the best place to start. Then you may understand how you want to proceed. Now I'll go back to the roadmap. This is just to tell you what we are doing with the memory cockpit right now. So this is the roadmap for the this component only. Okay, very soon means with SpagoBI 5.1, which will be delivered in, I think, a couple of months, even less probably. Okay, we will allow to make it, to put a widget that allows selection. So now selections, to see selections, you open the window, but we will allow you to make a selection using a widget without the widget refreshing. As I told you before, this pie is getting, full pie because you select. We will add a mechanism to leave the pie as it is, so to use it just the pie, whatever, any widget. So to leave the widget as it is and use it as a selector only. And it also is part of customizing the associative logic, so you can decide if you want to associate all data sets or keep some widgets isolated. We will improve interaction, especially in the toolbar, and add aggregation operators in tables, so you can do more things. Then, short to mid-term, of course, we'll add more graphical widgets and work on interactivity. And then another goal, which is, mid-term probably, is come to the actual data federation. So in one widget, you can put more data sets together in one widget, because now you have one dashboard, more widgets, each widget a data set. But now, then we'll probably have more data sets in the same widget, so it's the actual data federation. Notice that I put a call out. That's real. So we have a roadmap, clearly. We have an idea in mind. But if you believe, well, you want to contribute because you want to develop something, please contact us. If you think there are interesting features and I don't know, you are working on a project, you have a client, or you are developing a product, you believe it would be interesting to develop a feature, well, contact us. I mean, we are always open, and SpagoBI grows with its project. So we don't decide the roadmap, with blind eyes, and we just go that way. We have, of course, the road in mind, but if you believe you can contribute, please feel free to contact us, because we belong to, we feed the community, so we're happy to have contributions. And if you want to get in contact with us, I showed you the new website. The address you can see there is, the one where you can email and ask for information, requesting a demo, ask for services. You can ask questions. Consider taking a look at documentation online, because there are a lot of information, so you can find them there. We are on Twitter as well, and okay, stay tuned, because as I said, SpagoBI 5.1 is coming soon, so there will be interesting things. By the way, there are other upcoming webinars. Let me just remind them to you. Well, if any French-speaking person would like to hear this webinar again, my colleague Virginie will give it in French. I think it's tomorrow. And then next week, we'll have webinars on predictive intelligence, the new what if component in SpagoBI, which is a big novelty in SpagoBI 5. So, and finally, a webinar on big data. So if you go to the webinar, and I'm done, so let me show you. Okay, I'm here. That's great. you can see, okay, the webinars about the what-if analytics, so it's predictive intelligence, and big data. So you may consider joining. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. I hope you enjoyed, and please stay in touch, keep in contact. We will be happy to hear back from you. Goodbye. Have a nice afternoon.